Okay, welcome back to Sedgwick Attacks. We are up to turn 6:20 p.m., coming down to the final two turns of the game. Where we left off here, we have the Union pressing hard for the victory location here, just to the north of the Plank Road, and then also looking to potentially go against the Salem Church positions itself. But that's a tough position, very much entrenched, and a good bit of artillery right in front there. But we'll see what happens. Confederates starting to recover a little bit. Still a few units behind there that need some recovery, but there's a good line of cannon there, and there's just enough regiments there to keep the line intact for them. To the south, Kershaw has come around, trying to flank, push Wheaton back, take a little pressure off the north up there by attacking them, and they did a good job here on this unit, Pennsylvania. I forget what number it was, but it's Pennsylvania unit, reduced, battle worn, and shaken on here as well. So Union has a little recovery here to do as well with everything. But the big focus, I think, is going to be on this center hex and the fight for that as we move towards the end of the match. So let's get started. The chits are in the cup, and we're ready to get started with the artillery phase here. So with starting that off, the Union, of course, starts off. Parson, right there, is going to take a shot at Kershaw's 8th South Carolina over there. They did some damage on the this other South Carolinian, the battalion, over there before. We'll see if they can do that again over here. First, we're going to roll some dice here just to randomize things, and then we'll get into the Union shot right here, and they get a 63, which is actually a hit. It's a tough hit, I believe, on them, and then it winds up being a battle-worn morale hit and a retreat too. So Parsons Artillery, this 1st New Jersey A battery, really has the range on Kershaw's units over here, and they're going to flip over, take the morale hit, and they're going to have to retreat back with the other units. The stack of Parker's units, that would be Cobb, Woolfolk, and Parker. They're going to take a shot next. I believe. Oh no, it was actually. Sorry, they actually moved this stack back up onto the hill to get a little bit better elevation on them. For the Union has some guns coming on the board. They're going to move up, and they move down the pike as far as they can and position themselves to hold out so that the Confederates, if they make an attempt to try to go after this hex again, they'll run into a lot of artillery over there. Okay, next we've got Cowan's guns. Who's there? Where are they here? Well, they're going to... Oh, they moved. Sorry, they moved. We just marked them as fired, just so we knew they were moved. And then we've got Williston's units moving up a little bit over to the south of the Plank Road, just to get some clear lines of fire, keep the Confederates off of the south, and potentially attack Salem Church later on. And then we've got Parker stack flipping around, and that pretty much ends the artillery phase over there. So a little bit of damage on the Confederates, but all in all still in line here. So first chit out is Sedgwick. He activates, and he's going to order Brown up here to defend, so they can get rid of those shaken markers, but also try to cause some damage on the Confederates. So a couple shots here. First off, 23rd New Jersey is going to take a shot at them. That's the 14th Alabama. And they roll a 42, which I think is a miss. Yes, it is. And then we've got the 3rd New Jersey firing at the Alabama unit there. They actually get a hit. Oh, a 66. That's a big hit. And 53, which gets them battle worn, and they have to retreat 1. So they're going to move back that way. So that clears out a little bit more for the Union to try to get that hex. Meanwhile, 1st New Jersey moves back so they can get rid of their shaken marker, and the other 2nd New Jersey removes their shaken marker. So they're back up to speed. So they'll be good for their activation coming down the road under Brooke. Next one is Fortunes of War. So USA Comanche, pulled, so that's not going to happen. And then we come out and we get Brooks again. So Brooks is going to activate. He fails. So he is going to activate. Hold on 1 second for the activation. He's going to activate Brown again. And Brown is going to take some shots again like we saw before. So the 23rd is going to fire at the 14th, and they miss. And then we've got the 3rd New Jersey firing at the 14th over here. They actually get a hit, and it winds up being a retreat. Retreat 2. So that pushes them back. So that makes it even more interesting as the Union is gathering more strength across the northern part of the Confederates' entrenchments. Okay, next one out. Comanche. It's a rally for the Union. They are going to play it, and I forget who they play it on. Let's see here as we go along. And it's the 10th Massachusetts. That's right. If we look back in our Broken Track, our 10th Massachusetts is right there. They actually recover, so they're going to come out, and we're going to place them right there. So they come out of the Broken Track, and then on we go to the next one, which is McLaws. Fails the activation. That'll be Kershaw. They're going to try a long shot with Kershaw. Roll a 64. And then a 41, so that is a hit, but no damage. And next we have Brooks come out again. And now we have Brooks, he activates. This time it's going to be Bartlett. Now Bartlett is down here in kind of the center. And he's actually going to start to move up to advance on that victory hex location. And we see the 92nd, the 7th Maine, and the 121st New York all moving up. And we still have the 16th New York over here on its battle-worn side. So he's not going to do anything. Next event is a CSA command event, which they're going to hold. And we move on to the next shit is Brooks again, so this is going to be Russell. Russell activates. Russell's going to defend. Want to try to recover that unit and try to move them down the road a little bit, but they're really can't get into attack. We've got some good units up there. We've got Brown with an E, and we've got Bartlett up there. So we'll use those guys to actually go in because they're not going to make a difference quite yet. And they may be able to come around the southern flank here as well. So we'll just move them up and defend. These guys move up. These guys move up. And move up. And they move up and recover. So they're all back in full strength. That's all for Brooks. Next comes Wilcox. He rolls a 5, so he's going to activate. He's going to activate his. Now this is going to be his brigade activation. So they will activate to regroup, and he's going to regroup all of these guys that he can. So he's got a couple of them here, and over in here, and then I think on the Broken Track here as well. Yep, there's one right here on the Broken Track. they can try to recover. So let's see what they do. So first one's a 5, which is no. Next one, roll 2 of them over here. 5 was on, I think, the 9th Alabama. And then these 2 over here, the other 9th Alabama, or sorry, take that back. The first one was on the broken track. Second one was on Wilcox 9th Alabama here and here. And they get the first one, which I think was the B. We'll find out in a moment. And the 8th Alabama is going to try to recover. And they get it. I take that back. There's another activation over there that was, there was another regiment over there that needed to be recovered. That was done over there. So anyways, we're going through the recovery. Number of regiments recovered across here. You can see we've now got these guys full strength. We've got one of them at full strength, and then we've got this guy down here, the 8th Alabama, which I think he came off the broken track. I may have misspoken. No, he didn't. The 11th is the one on the broken track. So anyways, that's what was done with Wilcox. Next, we've got McLaws. He fails to activate. This is going to be Sims. He's going to take a shot at Brown. It's his only option there. Try to see what he can do against them. And they fire. And they get a hit. And it's a morale hit and a retreat 2. So they get pushed back. And then we've got Fog of War, which winds up being a 6, which is no effect. So we go to the next chit, which is Wilcox again. This is the commander-in-chief. He rolls a 4. He activates. And he is going to... Good question. What's he doing here? He does activate. Rolled another dice. I can't remember if this is a regroup or not, so let's take a look over here. I do believe this was another regroup with his troops, so he gets 1. Try to regroup with them, and them, and them. So they get the 10th Alabama, goes back to their fresh side. The 11th Alabama came back on the board. And then that was all for the regroup on them. So basically got them off the broken track. So that's pretty significant because that takes points away from the Union. Takes 2 points away from the Union right there with them back on the board. Meanwhile, recovering other units, trying to get them back up to strength as well. We were playing with the fact that the 11th now, because it came off the broken track, cannot recover fully because they were on the broken track at least once. So, moving along to the next chit is Newton, and he activates, and he chooses Brown with an E to defend. Alright, now they could have attacked to try to get up there, but we still have Mahone and Wolford that have been unactivated. So, even with the attack, it's not real strong, because if you look, Brown right here, the Rhode Island unit is shaken. 10th Massachusetts is still broken and will remain that way because again they were on the broken track. And then you take a look at this stack, he's got a cohesion of 2. If we moved him up there and they get pounded, he is most likely falling back across there. So we're going to keep with the defend to try to get the Rhode Islanders back in service and basically just recover because there's no shooting, they're not close to each other, and they've only got 2 movement points, which doesn't really allow them to move up very effectively here. So next we go with Newton again. This is going to be Wheaton. Wheaton activates. Wheaton chooses to defend, and they're going to take a shot. 139th is going to take a shot back at the 7th South Carolina. Rolls a 23, which is a miss, and the 102nd PA recovers its morale. So they're just battle worn now. So that's all for Newton. McLaws comes back out, rolls a 4 and fails. So this is going to be either Wooford or Mahone. And they're going to take Wooford. And he's going to get a shot at the New Jersey troops just in the woods beyond the victory hex. They're going to take a shot over there. They roll a 26, which is a miss. Move on to the next one. It's McLaws again. Rolls a 2. This time Mahone is going to attack. Mahone is moving. First off, they're taking some shots. Those couple units are taking a shot at the New Jersey unit. And then moving up 1 unit. And then that's all for their turn. But then they come right back and play a rebel yell. So they're going to play that and allow for a charge by the Confederates from there into there. So that's going to be attack of both the 6th Virginia and the 14th Alabama to team up against the 3rd New Jersey. So first off, we get defensive fire. Oh, it's a hit. They roll a 61 with a defensive fire on them, and rolls a 13, which just retreats a 1 unit, 1 hex. Now both of them are both 6 and 4s, so it's a Confederate player choice. They move back Mahone, leaving the 14th Alabama from Wilcox to complete the charge. So they attack, and they're going to attack, and they make an excellent dice roll on here. That's huge because they have quite the advantage with the 2 column shift with Rebel Yell. That gets them a hit, and then they roll a 65, which is going to battle warn the 3rd New Jersey, as well as forcing them to take a break test, and they break, so they're going to actually go on to the broken track with on the 3 broken track. So that actually eliminates them, and then they can potentially move forward from there. But they hold off just because they see what's facing them just beyond the entrenchments. So that will actually end the Chit Cup with 1 last CSA event Chit drawn. And then we move into the held event Chit phase. Union doesn't have anything. Confederates use a rally. I'm going to rally those units there. And they rally up the 41st Virginia of Mahone. Unit's going to use the Huzzah. 121st from Bartlett's going to move up, try to attack Semmes, Georgians. Georgians roll a 24. They get a hit and a 65. And that makes them shaken, and they retreat. So the Huzzah doesn't work out for the Union. Now we've got a firefight, which the Union doesn't have anybody to place it on. So that brings us to the end of the turn. And pretty much the end of the 620 turn, where the Union has moved up a little bit, made some inroads, shooting and driving back the Confederates just to the north of the victory hex, but can't really make the move into the victory hex yet without more troops coming forward to attack. So we'll move on to the last turn, the 640 turn, which is really going to decide who wins the game here, because it's really going to come down to this last victory hex in here. Just to look at where we are right now with everything. Confederates have 11 victory points with the hexes, plus on the broken track the Union has 1, so there's 1 more point, so there's 12 for the Confederates. Union has 2 Confederates on the broken track, that's 4 points, and no victory hexes, but special scenario rules give them 5 points, so it's 9. So it's 12-9 at this point for the Confederates. So they're actually still winning. But if this victory hex flips, that will change the game because it's 5 points for the Union and 3 points for the Confederates. A loss of 3 points for the Confederates if the Union takes it. So that would drop the Confederates down to 9 and actually push the Union up to 14, which potentially, which is the game at that point. As well as other casualty points that come up from this. So we'll see what happens. Turn 9 is going, or excuse me, turn 640 is going to be interesting. It's the 9th turn of the game, and stay tuned for that for the next one in the series. Thanks for watching. Please like us and leave comments. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.